Welcome back. I'm going to start to mix Tim Stroom's My Mother hip hop mix, and I'm going to start literally from scratch. As you know, I'm very anal when it comes to color coding and naming things. I haven't bothered with these yet because we're going to go and edit them as we go along with the mix. Today's video is really about preparing the vocals or the rap, and it's really preparing it for reverb and delay. I'm not going to mix it in the mix context yet. I'm only going to treat the vocals because I want to treat them in isolation. And then I'll play them with the mix and then we'll fit them in. Obviously, we will change some of the values of our processors and effects to make everything sit in the mix. First off, let's go and listen to Tim's track. I'd love you to go to Tim's SoundCloud page produced by Shroom2. Do a search for Tim Stroom or Shroom2 and just have a quick listen to this.
Then drove her to the mall. Baking soda, cocaine, you cooking like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. My mother said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's suck.
So that's the track we're going to work on. I have the instrumentals here. These are all dry stems. They're not even level matched or gain staged or anything like that. You're actually listening to the raw files as they are. First thing we want to do is switch everything off that we don't need here.
Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be.
Okay, I've isolated the track we're going to work on. Let's just expand it a touch so we can see everything. Sometimes what I do is I like to clean things up. I'm not going to move its location yet. I'm just going to try and sync it all up. Let's see. I can take this all the way here. This is just a rough guide at the moment, so don't worry too much about that. I'm just getting rid of dead space so I can get my timing right. Let's drag this across. And we'll leave it there.
Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid.
Perfect. We have nothing going anywhere. The first thing we want to do is clean this up. You can hear
for your dick the things my mama said I would never.
There's a lot of congestion at the low to low mids, so we need to tidy things up. First thing I like to do is to remove the low end. I have lots and lots of EQs here I can select from. I'm going to go to, let's pick something simple. I'm going to use, wherever I can, I'm going to use the stock plugins, and then we'll go to more advanced plugins and more detailed plugins for different things. But in Cubase, the stock plugins are fine. What I want to do with the first band here is to drop this into a cut. And what we want to do is we don't want to boost. Let's drop the EQ there. And I'm going to grab this note and just move it. Right now, we're at 50 Hertz. The trick is to play the vocals.
Never forget, don't be nobody's sucker,
and
is what
sweep.
my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's.
I like to go beyond the level at which I want to cut and then drag back. So have a look at the graphical display here of the waveform, which is the spit, and watch what happens when I start dragging things around.
This trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker, is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it.
The reason I'm sweeping across this 100 Hertz here from 100 to 200 is to demonstrate to you how little the impact of this cut is on the vocals. We've actually got dead frequencies here, frequencies we don't even need. And the trick to emphasizing that or locating those frequencies is to just sweep across until you hear the tonal characteristic of the vocal change.
Like this, don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker, is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like.
So we're good around 180 Hertz. There is another thing we need to think about here, which is the slope, gradient or response as we call it. With the other video tutorials on my website, I tend to advocate 6 to 12 dB per octave. This really is dependent on how much of the bleed, or rather how much of the frequencies you're going to cut through, you want to bleed back in. In other words, we might want this area to creep in and then have the cut here. Or we might choose to go for a far gentler cut like this. I find with male rap vocals, anywhere from 12 to 24 is fine. We'll start at 12 and have a quick listen.
Like this, don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never.
The minute I dropped into 48, it was simply too much. This is 48 dB per octave. We measure all these in octaves. 96 would literally be a vertical cut, or a brick wall cut as we like to call it. I think 24 is just right. We'll play around with these as we move along the track, because I haven't really explored the Q here. I've left the bandwidth wide enough that we flatline at 0 here, or as I've done, pushed it up a little bit so that I get an exact cut. So what we've done now is we've cut the low end of this. Next thing, do we need to get rid of the top end? Well, let's have a try. We'll bring this in and we'll do a high shelf here. So let's do that. Drag the Q down again. So we're flatlining at 0. That's just for now. And I am going to go a more dramatic cut. There we go. Now, the trick here is, again, to sweep and have a listen to the vocals. The minute you start losing some of the presence or top end, you need to back off.
Never forget, don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama.
You can see that from about 5-6 kilohertz to 16 or 20 kilohertz, there's very little happening. So why not cut at around, watch this display here, at around 5 kilohertz.
Mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be.
Actually, just under 10 kilohertz, because I wanted to leave a little bit of the higher frequencies here, because I'm going to excite them. First, I'm going to distort them, because I want to bring that rap vocal to the front. Okay, so we've got the little cut happening here. Nothing too exciting for now.
Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like.
Perfect. So I've dragged it to 155 because I've picked a steeper response. At 24, I was willing to go to 200, but when I get into really extreme cuts like this, you need to drop down. Right, that sounds okay-ish. The next tool I like to use, I don't want to apply DS now. I know people like to DS the vocal straight away after the EQ, but to be honest, if you're going to distort or clip the vocals, you're better off DSing afterwards. I'll explain to you in a minute. Let's go to Sound Toys. I have to say, Sound Toys is one of the companies that just about every one of their plugins are featured in all my mixes. Standard setting, don't put on punish. I picked style A here, but we'll flick through them. Bit of drive. What I like is the way the drive is linked to the output. That compensates. In other words, it's trying to level match. Cut. I'm going to go around here for now. Drag. This is before even listening to anything. Let's see. I'm going to leave the wet at 100% for now until we have a quick listen.
Like this, don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said.
So we've got rid of some of the boxiness that exists in the cuts that we did here. I'm trying to do this stage by stage because normally I kind of do this a little different. I'll do my band pass and then boost. I pick a tighter cue here and make that my focus point. But to hell with that, let's just stay with the decapitator. I think it works even better. The trick is not to drive this too much. We don't want that heavy distortion type of effect. All we want to do is give it a little bit of excitation, so to speak, without having to use an exciter. So I'm going to push this to about 7.
Forget, don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this.
So we've got some nice bounce thing happening here, but to be honest, I prefer to drive it. So I'll leave it at 7. I've extended the low cut and expanded the high cut just a touch, just to give it a bit more air. I've leaned towards brightness, but listen to how the styles affect the sound.
Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick.
So very little difference between A and P. It's really a subjective decision here, which one you want to use. Next up, I like to stick in a de-esser, or something else that I sometimes do is have compensatory EQ. In other words, I'm cutting here and I want to bring some of this back up. Let's use a different EQ this time, just for the hell of it. In fact, why not use a graphic EQ?
The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like.
Now I've accentuated this because I really want to bring that sort of raspy high end through, because I'm then going to run the spit in parallel and mix to taste. I don't want to do that yet, because once I've worked out my signal path, I'm going to copy this and switch some bits off and listen to how it works in parallel mode. Right, this is quite extreme, but I'm doing it for effect. Next thing, a de-esser. You could use the box standard ones that come in with your DAW, and I'm just going to use this.
Said I would never forget.
I like to throw it into solo mode and listen to what I'm actually doing. Which area?
Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said.
Too boxy? I think it was just fine where
Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be.
So we've got rid of a lot of the low end. We've brightened things up with the decapitator. We've cut and compensated with the graphic. I'd have used a better EQ than this one, but it's just really to show you what we're doing. And a de-esser to smooth things out. But I feel we're still missing. And I think we need to cut around 200 to 300 hertz.
Be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick,
That's
get
starting
paid
to
for
sound
your
a
dick.
bit better.
The things my mama said I would never forget. Baking soda,
You
cocaine,
can see the
you
activity
cook it like
here.
this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said.
That sounds a lot better. You can see what I've done here. Look at where my nodes are sitting.
Baking soda, cocaine, you cook
Note
it
on the
like
peak.
this.
Note
Don't
on
be
the peak.
nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said.
So it sounds a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, and we're now prepped to get into effects. Remember, this is all on the fly and it's just to give you an idea. The better EQs you use, the better processes that you use, the better the result. But I'm quite happy with this actually.
Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be no.
Now we can use a parallel feed here, and here I can disengage everything and mix to taste. This brings back some of the body without it sounding too muffled. Let's drag it down and play the two.
Be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick.
So even if I boost this up like I just did, it still sounds clean and natural compared to this.
The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your.
You can group these two and send it to effects, or you can treat them separately. And we'll get onto that in the next tutorial. This is just a broad park kind of on-the-fly editing. Like I said, get into better plugins and you get better results. In fact, we could get rid of the graphic and put something a little nicer in there. And quite like this Waves F6. Let's go into mono for now. This is the compensatory EQ because we've cut heavily here, boosted using distortion here. And now I want to put something back
your
in.
Dick, the things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said I would never forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine, you cook it like get. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it.
So what I've done here is I've boosted around 130 hertz because I've cut dramatically here. And really I just want to put a little boost there. Let's bring the threshold down.
Get, don't be nobody's sucker.
So what I'm doing here is bouncing up and bouncing down. So each time this bounces up, this one's going to drop down. That just gives us a slightly smoother response across all of that low to low mid frequencies.
Is what my mama said. Cocaine, baking soda, cook it like this. Don't be nobody's trick, get
See,
paid
that's
for your
a little
dick.
too
The
boxed.
things my mama said I would
Too band
never
passed.
forget. Don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said. Baking soda, cocaine.
Puts the life back in. I could also DS to take out more of the top end.
Can you cook it like this? Don't be nobody's trick, get paid for your dick. The things my mama said.
We don't want too much here. Just enough.
Never forget, don't be nobody's sucker is what my mama said.
And there you have it. We've tidied things up and left the frequencies that we're now going to work with. There's lots more we can do, and there will be lots that we will do, especially when we come to mix it within the song.